Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at the Imperial Agents Detachments. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. Imperial Agents Detachments enlist rogue traders into inquisitorial operations. Codex Imperial Agents contains thematic detachments that give your army special rules to reflect the unique ways many forces in the 41st Millennium fight. While every Inquisitor has their own particular ways of purging aliens, mutants, or heretics, the skills taught by the Ordo give them all some commonality. And the three most important, the Order Xenos, the Order Hereticus, and the Order Malleus, make up 3 of the 4 detachments in the book. The Ordo Xenos Alien Hunters detachment makes plentiful use of the elite Deathwatch and their famously flexible fighting styles, switching between mission tactics to impart powerful bonuses like precision, sustained hits, and lethal hits on attacks when the perfect moment arises. Alright, so the Deathwatch thematic detachment definitely seems like it's still going to be in line with the current Black Spear task force. We don't know what else is going to change, but that is like the current detachment army rule, so that's pretty cool to see. The Ordo Hereticus, purging foes, prefers the Purifying Flame to root out cowardly foes. Given their ranged weapons, ignores cover, and becoming especially powerful when targeting hordes of Chaos troops. Alright, so special bonuses against Chaos, and then also ignores cover on ranged weapons. So obviously that's not going to benefit any flame weapons, but it's basically like an extra AP on range shooting, which is pretty good. The Order Malleus excel at rooting out demons, so units from Demon Hunters detachment reroll hit rolls of 1, extending to rerolling wound rolls of 1 against demons. They each have their own enhancements and stratagems, tailoring to the unique fighting styles and strength of the Deathwatch, Adeptus Sororitas, and Grey Knights allies. Alright, so definitely very thematic, right in line with what you would expect. The 4th detachment is a little different. The Imperialist Fleet detachment looks to the stars for enigmatic rogue traders, whose unique skills and boundless assets can be requisitioned by Inquisitors whose investigations take them beyond multiple worlds. This detachment provides a flexible set of rules for use of Voidfire units like the Rogue Traders Entourage and Navy Reachers while still supporting every other unit in the Codex. The detachment rule at all costs rewards careful focus, either maximizing firepower against dangerous enemies with eliminate at all costs or rendering troops defending a key objective immensely hard to shift with acquire at all costs. So Games Workshop did already show this off, but the detachment rule, you're basically going to pick one of these 2 at the start of your command phase, eliminate at all costs, select an enemy unit on the battlefield until the start of your next command phase each time agents with the Imperial model from your army makes an attack that targets that enemy unit, +1 to the hit roll. So not bad, it is shooting and combat, or acquire at all costs. Select an objective marker on the battlefield until the start of your next command phase while agents of the Imperium unit from your army is within range of that objective marker. Improve the leadership and objective control characteristics of models in the unit by 1, and models in the unit have a 5-up invulnerable save. So your OC is going to go up, your leadership is going to go up, and you're going to have a 5-up invulnerable save while you're within range of that objective marker. So definitely going to add some extra like durability, and also like the OC could be a big deal, especially if you already have something on there that's 10 bodies with 2 OC, shifting that up to 3 and giving them a 5-up invulnerable save. Pretty good. Voidfarers use their expertise in orbital deployment to unexpectedly insert dangerous units deep into enemy territory. Characters equipped with a Combat Landers enhancement can grant 3 Voidfarer units deep strike and drop them right into the action. But if you need to sneak other agents of the Imperium around, such as Vigilant Squads or Assassins, the Masters of the Void stratagem has you covered. So we see first the enhancement, Combat Landers, Voidfarers models only. At the start of the declare battle formations, you can select up to 3 Voidfarers units from your army. These units gain the Deep Strike ability. So pretty good. Basically granting 3 units Deep Strike could be useful. And then Masters of the Void is a stratagem. Your movement phase, 1 Voidfarer character unit from your army. Until the end of the phase, each agent of the Imperium unit from your army that is arriving from strategic reserve this turn can be set up in your opponent's deployment zone. All of the restrictions apply. So you still won't be able to do this on the first turn, obviously, because you'll still be restricted by strategic reserves rule. And realistically, you can start doing this in turn 3 normally. So the real time this is the most useful is during turn 2 when you normally can't come into your opponent's deployment zone. So it's very situational, but could be good, because it does apply to all your agents of the Imperium coming in from strategic reserves. Once the shooting starts, you'll need to get the job done, which can be a little tricky with las guns and shotguns. Violent Acquisition provides a much needed boost in firepower, and if you're worried about burning through your command points too quickly, Fleet Masters let you dip into the powerful toolkit for free. So Violent Acquisition, 1 command point, shooting or fight phase, agents of the Imperium units from your army. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes an attack that targets an enemy unit within range of an objective marker, that attack has sustained hits 1, lance, and ignores cover abilities. So this isn't bad, but it's only 1 agent of the Imperium unit from your army. Getting sustained hits 1 is okay. Having lance is definitely pretty nice. Ignores cover is good too. Also, we can assume that you've given them the reroll hits ability. So quite a bit stacking up right here. But again, it's mostly going to be used on like shotguns and las guns. So while it does increase their overall firepower, I'm not sure this is going to make like a massive difference. And then last we have the enhancement, Imperial Fleet, Fleetmaster, Voidfarers models only. Once per battle round, you can target the bearer's unit with the Violent Acquisition, Masters of the Void, or Close Quarters Barrage Stratagem for 0 command points. So this is definitely an interesting choice right here, as we basically have like a lot of abilities already in the game, like Captain Stratagems that decrease the command point cost by 1 of anything. So this is like super restrictive because you pick between these 3 stratagems and do them for 0. And from what we've seen, they all cost 1 command point anyway. So it's basically like a worse captain ability, and it's an enhancement.
Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch, and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now, back to the video.
So I gotta say, from what we've seen overall, it does seem a little bit on the underwhelming side. Now, there's still tons of rules, detachment abilities, enhancements, stratagems that we haven't seen yet. But if Games Workshop's idea is to basically make like the Agents of the Imperium a legitimate codex, an actual faction that people are going to start playing, I'm just not seeing it so far. Now, I don't want to get too down on this. Obviously, Deathwatch players are already crushed by this. The loss of the Primaris kill teams, or like the unique kill teams, is basically the biggest nerf to the army, and a lot of Deathwatch players aren't even using them. Now, me particularly, I use multiples of those kill teams, so that's definitely a low blow for me. But there's for sure like some ability to adapt and overcome. I don't think Deathwatch are dead any more than they already were. Basically, nobody was playing them already, so it can only really get better in my opinion. As far as the other detachments are concerned so far, again, there's still a lot of rules we haven't seen, but the Fleetmaster's detachment definitely looks a little bit on the underwhelming side. And I'm not really seeing much so far from the Hereticus or Malleus that makes them like amazing. It is cool to be able to take some Sisters or some Grey Knights Terminators in your army, but I'm just not sold on this so far. Definitely looking forward to the actual book, having a look, diving in, seeing what's good. But I do have to say, so far seems a little bit on the underwhelming side. Very thematic, very cool. Doesn't look like we're going to get a ton of like new units or anything like that. And this is sort of just bringing us back to the old like 8th edition or early 9th edition Imperial soup. As I think it's much more likely that we're going to see people souping in some of these units into their existing army, which was already a factor, just to get like some cheap chaff to sit on objectives or some cheap OC. So to tell you the truth, I don't really see a ton of positive changes so far, and overall it just looks like Deathwatch is getting slightly worse. But I think from a business perspective, Games Workshop probably looked at Agents of the Imperium, probably looked at Deathwatch and said, look, nobody's playing these factions. There's very little interest. There's not a ton of stuff from the range that's selling. So you might as well just roll them up into one book. And it definitely looks like that's the route they've gone. Now, obviously, as we see the datasheet changes, as we see the rest of the detachments, the enhancements, the stratagems, there's still some potential out there that they're going to be good. They're going to be fun. But so far, it definitely looks very thematic, very in line with like the lore. But honestly, I'm not sure that enough people are going to be excited for this, that it's going to make up for the amount of people that are disappointed in Deathwatch basically getting squatted. So let me know what you guys think down below. Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. Special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the channel. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on Games Workshop products. And while reality is definitely setting in for me, I'm not writing them off just yet. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.